And this is why news.
This is why I'm hot. Sorry. Sorry.
Submitted by Cold Hot Dog.
Ew.
I know.
Actually, have you ever eaten them? Out of
No.
the fridge? And when I was a kid, I would eat them out of the
Oh
fridge.
yeah, that's true. I did eat that when I was a kid. Anyway, get back on track.
Because we were poor.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
A writer discusses the real reason women are often control freaks. I want to know. Why are we control freaks?
Daddy issues.
DNA.
Makes sense. Done.
What's the definition of a control freak?
It's when you say to your man, let me do it. Just let me do it.
Oh.
Fuck it, you can't do it. Just let me do it.
No, I'm not that person.
Yeah, me neither.
It's just like, oh, just let me do it.
I fight against that. Because then if you just do it too much, then they'll never want to do anything. And I don't want to get to that point.
They kind of fuck around so that you'll do that because they know they're set up to like get out of stuff. But then if you make them learn how to do it the right way.
Yeah. Well, no, for me, I just know that he's good at. I'm fortunate enough to be in a relationship where it's 50-50. And like, there's areas where I know I'm good at, and then there's areas I know where I suck and he's good at. So then we just kind of like trade off. But yeah, I'm not the let me do it.
Yeah, I'm 100% that
Oh
person.
yeah, we know Tiff.
In this relationship, I'm so the let me do it girl, and I've actually been struggling a lot myself to overcome that like perfectionist side of me, and I didn't realize like why I was doing it so much, but then once I dug deep and then I realized, well, okay, it's a control thing. Growing up, I didn't feel like I had control of a lot of situations I was in, and so that's kind of how I cope with my lack of control in my life is by controlling little insignificant things. And but so that's one part. But then reading this, I was like, oh, that's the other part too. So what they're saying in this article here is that women, we tend to be the more like control obsessive person in the relationship, because what they're talking about here is that a lot of the times the men, they kind of rely on that thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well, you want to do it your way, you could do it better, I can't do it. And so they don't even try.
Yeah.
So then because you as a woman have already felt like, you know what, I've tried to give them this task before and they I don't want to be let down again. So
Yeah.
it's just like, let me just do this.
Yeah.
Because obviously like you're not putting in the work and you don't care enough to do it the correct way or whatever it is, and it's just being done like half-assed. So there's just one example that they use here that the writer's great uncle pointed out that years prior he had decided to put in the emotional labor of booking flights for himself and their great aunt, only to be met with anger because he had done it wrong. And
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, and so like that's what they're saying, that it's that this writer hears this argument a lot, that it's not that men can't or won't do the work, is that they are just scolded every time that they try.
They always fucking do it wrong. Like, just do it right.
That's true.
Yeah.
But can I say that, like, there needs to be moms teaching their sons how to do things.
Yes,
because I've dated too many guys that don't know how to do laundry.
Yes.
They don't know how to wash a dish properly.
You're right.
I wasn't even doing that many chores as a kid, but like, everyone learns that. Like, and Steve even like felt bad that he didn't know how to do those things, and he like was mad that his mom never taught him. And I was like, man, moms, we gotta teach our sons.
You know why that is? Because moms baby their sons and then they rely and co-parent with their daughter.
Yes, that's so true.
So I don't have a
Traditional
daughter.
thing.
I don't have a daughter, but I totally know and realize that I am doing that to Isaac. Where now he's 11 and he's still like, I've tried to ease into teaching him how to wash his own clothes and help out with the dishes, and his responsibility is like cleaning out the kitty litters, but even that he'll just half-ass it, and I'm trying to like tell him like, no, this is the correct way to do it. But then I get scared because I know that I have that in me where I'm like, fuck, I might take it a little too far, where I'm being a little too perfectionist, and I don't let him learn. So I'm like in this really weird.
Why don't you let him do it his way? Where
Because
you're like, this is A, this is Z. I want you to get to Z. Do it your way, and then we'll talk about how you did it.
yeah, so it's not really the process. It's he's still not getting to Z. Like it's still not even being done. So like for example, the kitty litter example is like you're supposed to scoop up all the poop, because we have a particular litter where you don't have to. It's not the one that crumbles. So the poop is there, and then there's like pee pads, and that gets cleaned out. Just he doesn't worry about that. It's just the poop that he has to pick up, and then the pellets. So the pellets get thrown everywhere because the cat scratched. So his only responsibility is like, okay, scoop out the poop and pick up the pellets and put them back. And he won't, like they'll still be like poop nuggets there, and then like the pellets will still be there, and I'm like, okay, so this is how you do it, and like I'm trying to tell
Or did you ask him like, what? How did you miss this?
Yeah, I'll ask him, and he'll just be like, oh. He's such a guy about it.
Yeah, I would talk that. That's when I would be like, no.
He's such a guy about it, because guys just like half-ass it.
Right, but see, like you're already training him to be that guy.
Yeah.
So when his girlfriend or his wife or whatever comes in the picture,
He doesn't have to say anything.
and then when he's washing a dish and he's like, and then she's like, oh, let me do it. You know what I mean?
And then he's gonna go, oh, you know?
Yeah, that's what Steve would do.
That's
I got lucky because you guys know Bart's mom. So Bart's mom's like a very eccentric woman. So she was a single mom pretty much because just him and his how the fuck do I explain it? Bart's dad and mom just had a really volatile relationship. So he wasn't really in the picture. Dad wasn't in the picture. So Bart would say that his mom, like every weekend, like he would wash the car all by himself, starting at like 5 or 6 like years old. So I think that's what you were saying. I would agree.
Yeah.
But because his mom like really trained him to do all that and like clean the floors and
Plus, he was in the military. Like, the military trains you all that shit, too, because both of Steve's brothers went through the military, and they all know how to fold shit, they know how to do dishes, they know how to do all that shit. Steve doesn't. Like, he does the half-ass thing. Like, he'll sweep the floor, there's still cat hair everywhere.
See, the thing is,
Well, going back to Isaac thing, right? So yeah, he doesn't do it, but I tell him like, no, do it again. You didn't finish it right.
Yeah.
But then I also have like childhood experience with like my stepdad was such a perfectionist. Like he made me clean the bathroom 4 times in one day because it wasn't good enough. So I'm like, fuck, like I'm so scared of going to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like I am like literally like, fuck, like where do I go with
But
this?
the fact that you're aware of it, you know that you're not gonna go to the extreme.
Yeah.
You know, because you know you're like, all right, 2 times is enough. Like move. You know, like tomorrow you'll do it better. But I think there's also like a reward and punishment system where it's like, well, you didn't do it right, so you don't get to play with whatever you fucking play with, or you don't get to go outside. Because it's kind of crazy to think about the way my mom raised me, her oldest daughter, and like her youngest son, who's like 16 now, my brother. Like, I started paying $50 a month to live there when I was like 17.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like as soon as I got a job, and now he's like about to be 17, and like my dad sends him money, and she's like, no, he needs his. I'm like, woman, like, are you like?
I'm that same energy.
Yeah, I keep the same energy, and she tells me, well, he's my last one, and I'm like, bitch.
Yeah, my parents were like, well, you could handle that, but your brother can't handle that. He can only focus on one thing at a time.
We're
so he
handicapping
can't,
men.
He can't have a job or anything. Like, and exactly, because well, of course he can't handle it. He's never been forced to. Exactly. Like, I didn't feel like I could handle it until like I needed to. Yeah.
So then like continuing with the writer saying here, so then with that uncle example, so they're saying, like she was saying that the reason why the great aunt got so upset because he didn't do it right is they had a 6-hour layover in Acapulco that it took away the first vacation day. And it's just the fact that he didn't examine the entire flight itinerary before booking. So it's like, it's the whole like, well, he's trying but not like really trying.
They don't get the little thing, the detail-oriented things. Because like
so
sometimes
even, like,
Steve will like clean and he like legit, I don't think he sees the mess. Like I don't think he sees it. And then I have to point it out, and I'm like, because I used to be that way, but then I really like wanted, when I started like having my own things, like wanted them to be nice. And like I'd be like, you didn't see this clump of cat hair like right here, like in the middle of the floor? And he's like, oh, I guess I just didn't see it. And like, so he's getting better at seeing things, but it's still a work in progress. And it's harder too because he's not my kid. So like I don't want to patronize him, and I don't want to make him feel bad. And he is like trying really hard. And like he's gotten better at making the bed. He's gotten better. He'll be like, how do I do your clothes? Because I always said he did my clothes wrong. He shrunk a lot of my clothes before, and I would get so pissed. And he's like, show me how to do it. But every time I tell him, and then he does it wrong, and so he needs, I don't know if he needs to write it down or something, or like I don't know if it's just like a training, like he needs to continually do it and make it a habit. But like, yeah, there's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we end up being like moms to the husband.
Yes, and that's why we stop having sex with them.
I just have a lot of sex.
Figure it out, guys.
No,
that's true.
Yeah, and I think it's very common where the women, because like I have family members who are like, I don't want to be your mom. Like I already have a kid with you. You are just like another part of the bundle of kids. You know, and then the men get like, oh, she's so mean to me. She doesn't love me. She doesn't want me. You know, and it's like, well, bitch, if you did it right the first time, you know.
Actually, just they point that out in this article here. It's called maternal gatekeeping, and so that's where there's a problem of emotional labor imbalance, and that's where that stems from because they're saying that there's already an imbalanced partnership, so then now you just become their mom because you're like, let me just do this shit then if you're not even gonna try to put the work in to the emotional labor, right? This writer here is saying like that they don't believe that women need to completely let go in order to achieve balance. It's developing a set of shared standards for how partners are going to show up for their shared life needs. And to be based on what is going to best benefit both parties and the rest of the family if it's applicable. And so it just really requires an open conversation that goes beyond, if you want it done your way, do it yourself. And so most men need to step up.
Yeah, me and Joe actually had this conversation like 3 days ago. Because I was not feeling well, and I had like a ton of shit to do to like prep for JK News or whatever, and I was just like, oh my god. And then we had like people were supposed to come over or something, so he's like, okay, I'll help clean up. And I'm like, all right, because I know it's gonna suck, right? So then he's doing like laundry and stuff, and he's doing it all half-assed, and like all the socks are, you know, balled up, the long sleeve shirts are all like stuck together, and I'm sorry, I had to sit down. I was like, okay, don't get mad. And I sat down and I talked to him, and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing is you're putting effort into our relationship by trying to help me. Now, if you want to do it in a way that I'm going to appreciate, can I teach you how I want it to be done?
Yeah.
Because I want to appreciate the fact that you're going out of your way to do something that you don't normally do on a daily basis. And he's like, okay, yeah. So then I literally taught him like from baby steps. I'm like, you have to open up the clothes, like all this stuff. And
that's
like,
great, Jess.
Yeah, so we spent like 2 hours and I taught him how to clean everything. Like he didn't know how to use the Swiffer. He was just like, what is this? You know, like, so everything. And I think it was a really healthy way, because normally I would keep doing oh, you fucked it up, I gotta redo it. You know, the dishwasher's all loaded up wrong, like I gotta rewash the dishes.
Yeah, and he just hears like, you did a bad job, you did a bad job, but no helpful things to fix it. Yeah.
Because that's what they're saying too. It's like, as women, we need to put in the effort to teach, and then men need to put the effort in to
try.
I like to think of myself as very patient. Like even with my boyfriend, he'll ask me like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, no, you do what you want to do, and then I'll deal with the consequences of that. And I don't even put it in that way, but I mean, like, if it doesn't come out how I want it to, it's how you wanted it to, and it's okay for both of us, you know, because it's your way, and we don't live together, so you know, like, of course we're not at that point yet. But even like planning a trip or planning a date or like planning a dinner, you know, like if we go somewhere that I don't like to eat or like something like that, I'm like, it's fine, like it worked out, you know, because if you don't appreciate effort, then they'll stop trying.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fine line.
Like it.